So the presentation is called Find Your Voice, and one of the reasons I call the presentation Find Your Voice is because we, at our law school, at Golden Gate University, we're trying to figure out how in San Francisco combine legal education with the tech industry, for something we call a voice project. So obviously we have challenges. We've been talking about the challenges both in the world as legal education impacts the world. We've talked about some of these today, so it's really great that I only have 18 seconds. No access to justice for too many. These are problems that are going on as a legal practice hits the world, and far too many unemployed and underemployed attorneys out there in the world. Legal education, the problems that we have with inside the walls that we've also been talking about all day, the fact that we want to increase experiential, practical opportunities, we want to give more client-ready opportunities to our students, and at the same time, we somehow have to reduce costs. So there are some of the challenges. I talk about these challenges for my students to get their first job opportunities, whether it's an externship or an actual job opportunities. There are actually some of my students. And the fact that I want them to have some experiential learning while they're in the house before they go outside and I want them to have some exposure, like a clinic, to an actual area of practice. I want them to have a narrow area of practice. Now, the legal practice, the legal industry, has actually sort of been ahead of us. They've been thinking about this. They've been thinking about how they can leverage technology to make a better practice, whether it's e-discovery or using the cloud or how they have advanced technology. We've been seeing smaller, nimble firms compete. So it's our charge, I think, in legal education, not only to get creative, not only to innovate, but to think about how we can use technology, to affect what we do in the school of law. And we've been talking about that all day today with distance learning and putting first year online. But then the next step is thinking about how we can use technology in law school to then improve some of the problems in the world and think about the problems in the world. I'm going to give you a narrow project that happens in San Francisco where my law school is located, Golden Gate University School of Law, and a company that we've partnered with called Pearl.com. It's located down the street in the Presidio in San Francisco. They are an online question and answer site, and we're obviously a law school that's trying to get innovative and trying to get creative. Doesn't matter that it's happening at my school. This is not some promo piece for my school. Doesn't matter that it's happening in San Francisco. It wouldn't only happen there. These are projects that hopefully can be replicated not only with this tech industry, this site, but also elsewhere. A couple slides about what Pearl.com does. They let people who need access to justice, let people that have questions, ask questions of any professional. And they ask questions online. And you can see one of those areas, medical doctors, veterinarians, and they also allow you to ask questions of lawyers online. The information, professionals provide information. It's not advice, it's not an AC relationship, but they provide information to these people, online, real-time discussions, answers within a couple of minutes. So, and this is F/U, this is follow-up, right? One of the things that we do is you can actually have a conversation back and forth and ask follow-up questions. And like I said, I know we have law professors in the audience, so there is no attorney-client relationship between the two. It's clear in the discussion. There's no advice, and it's not confidential because everyone has a username as they ask the question. So it's actually public and searchable. So it's not any of those circumstances. So imagine now that Pearl.com comes up with a pro bono replica of its site. It actually allows pro bono attorneys to come forward and help people out in the same way, people that are in need, people that qualify. So while they would ordinarily pay for this service to talk to a professional online, including attorneys, they don't have to in the pro bono context, and it allows people. So now imagine I partner with Pearl, and I get my students to operate as the professional, supervised law students in this narrow area that get experiential learning, like they're in a clinic setting, that actually get exposure to an area of practice that we choose based on whatever category we open through Pearl. So that's the introduction to sort of what this project is, the Voice Project. And it's not that voice, it's not the singing show, it's not them. So we're not talking about this type. What we're talking about, my voice project at my school has to do with, we figured we'd pick something that could be an example, that could be a model going forward. And one of the things we picked is, we decided that Veterans Online Information Center, that's where the voice comes from, we decided that the people in need and the people we wanted to serve in our community, the people we wanted to have access through the internet to ask questions of our students while they're supervised would be veterans. And under my new dean, Rachel, who was just up there, we have a lot of veterans initiatives going on right now. So now these same people that have this service component to what they've done in their past, they qualify in that way. And they ask questions online to my law students while they're supervised by someone who actually volunteers in this space and happen to have served himself. So we are using the platform of Pearl pro bono. Now, the Voice Project has a couple different components. It has a classroom component. They actually get together. They do get together at our school in a traditional class to teach veterans benefits. Doesn't have to be at our school. It could be virtual. There's an experiential component because there is someone asking a question and then someone answering that question and having the follow-up. And we're actually going to have an externship piece where if we take on a matter, we can do that as well. So think about abilities as my students, supervised in small groups, gain exposure to this area and also are able to actually help people and help people that have questions. And these are just, how do I get this benefit? What happens if this happens? So while there are live clinics out there that handle veterans benefits across the country, you want your questions answered by a veterans benefit expert, I ask the next question. How about trained, supervised law students answering questions? And we actually supervise the question that comes in and the proposed answer that would go back out. Again, I title this Find Your Voice because this can be through this site. You can come and ask me. You can email me after. This can be replicated with any type of clinic. We have over 150 law schools that have types of clinics. We have over 900 actual clinics across the country. Imagine if schools picked up and started thinking about ways they could use technology, they could use Pearl.com to solve the world's problems.